Warning: the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. It's the week of February 18th, 2021. This is episode 225 and I am your host, Chris Randazzo. Joining me tonight, as always, is long-term Disney deal, Karen Randazzo.
What's a Jennings?
Lucifer in the flesh, Angie Fernot.
Don't at me, bro.
And off-screen death, Evan Goldstein.
That's my freedom of speech.
Tonight, the latest allegations against Joss Whedon threaten to actually stick. Wakanda's windows are open a little bit wider. Brooklyn Nine-Nine comes to an end, and much, much more. But first, how's everyone doing?
Yay.
I love your intros.
I like it when he puts on his fancy voice, like his newscaster voice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It sounds so...
I only dusted off for this podcast.
Fox News has got nothing on you, sir.
You're damn
To
right.
be fair. You basically just laid the bar on the floor. That's how low it is.
I
If
know.
anything, you dug a hole and threw it in. But
That's the point.
here's a fun little bit of trivia for all you people who listen to this week's episode. I started making videos for Stone Age Gamer, and I had to come up with an animated intro thing for our logo, and I stole the TV static clicky noise that we use from this week's episode to use for that.
I listened to that today, and I'm like, that sounds vaguely familiar.
That's why.
Almost like you did that.
So how's everybody doing? What's new and exciting in the world?
Happy Valentine's Day,
Yes,
everybody.
happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
and
Day,
Galentine's Day
listeners.
for all you Parks and Recreation fans.
Yeah, Galentine's.
Galentine's.
We're good. We haven't really celebrated Valentine's Day yet.
Well, I mean, I got you your flowers and your candy, your
No, we
chocolate.
did. We did the
I got you a-
stuff.
Yeah.
We did the thing. We just didn't celebrate.
No.
We didn't do that
we
thing.
didn't do that thing.
I'm ready. That's a whole other thing. This is a thirsty conversation.
So
anyway.
what ends up happening is every time there's a big...
Oh
like,
my God, honey, let's not talk about Shark Week.
I wasn't even going to call it Shark Week.
Jesus Christ.
Shark Week? Is that what the kids are calling it these
That's
days?
what I'm calling it these days, okay?
Honey. Out of nowhere, I
Listen,
just
the
got
first
a message.
rule about Shark Week is you don't talk about Shark Week.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere, and I'm sitting at my desk. I'm like, I'm calling it Shark Week. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not. What? You're talking to me as if we were in the middle of a conversation.
Okay, in fairness to me and only me, because really this is what matters. I was reading a webtoon, and it is an absolutely phenomenal webtoon called My Giant Nerd Boyfriend. And it was literally her talking about it. The episode or webtoon of that day was Shark Week plus vomiting sucks or whatever, or Shark Week plus flu. And I was like, oh man, no one wants to watch Shark Week while they have the flu. And then I read the whole comic and I was like, oh no, I've been there. Oh no, this is far worse. So
Yeah, that's what it's now called in our house.
So it works because I literally just want to bite the heads off of everybody around me during this time. So there really has never been anything more appropriate in my entire life. So,
There you go, listeners. A little inside baseball.
yeah, read webtoons and read My Giant Nerd Boyfriend and then, thank me later. Enjoy your Shark Week.
How
Or
are you
don't.
guys doing?
I mean, I'm
We're
doing
sorry.
good. I'm living the dream over here.
I heard.
With ice cream and aliens.
Yeah, my daughter's was trying to coax some extra snuggles out of me, and usually I'm not going to say no, right? Because it's never. She's gonna grow up, and she's not going to want to,
Eventually,
cuddle
she's going to
with
hate
me.
you. Yes.
Yeah, she's going to be like, no, get off of me. But sometimes
She'll have Shark Week too.
there you go. Sometimes it's been a day, and I just need to come downstairs and do a podcast. Like, okay, well, I get it. So, but she's up there. She was. This is actually kind of a bit of a good segue. She was afraid at first because we started watching The Dragon Prince, which was the show that we decided to watch next, and we're 3 in, I think.
4.
Four episodes in, and it was the episode where they laid King Harrow's body to rest, and what's his name, the magician guy, was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be king now, so let's do this funeral." And they're like, "Yo, you're supposed to wait 7 days." He's like, "We're at war, burn him!" And then everyone put out their torches, and then Claudia pulls out a spider to do dark magic, because that you have to kill something, you have to take life from something to do dark magic. So she pulled out a spider, and Ellie's afraid of spiders, but she then immediately killed the spider and lit torches with its magic. So I was like, that spider's dead, honey. Claudia killed it. It's very dead.
So does she now
It's
love
dead
Claudia?
and on fire.
Yeah, it is dead and on fire. It's not just dead, but its life force was drained to light torches.
Oh my
Nothing
goodness.
has ever
the show
been
is
more
way
dead.
deeper than I remember.
I want to watch it again. I don't remember the ending at all. I don't feel like we ever
There
watched
was
it.
no ending.
We haven't finished it.
Okay.
That's got 4 more seasons or something like that coming out.
They keep
And
saying
I'm so
it gets,
excited.
gets renewed.
Well, I mean, I don't remember the last thing we watched. I don't remember the end of a season.
Yeah, I
Like-
don't remember where it left. I have a vague memory of the general vicinity of where it left off, but
Yeah.
it's been a little while, so rewatching it has been super fun, and I feel like Karen is enjoying it. What are your thoughts on the Dragon Prince so
I
far?
am enjoying it. I mean, it's not getting me quite the way Cora got me yet, but I give it time. I have some theories.
Do tell.
I feel like I'm gonna show my ass here because I'm gonna say some stuff and then I'm gonna watch more and we're gonna be like, nope, I was totally wrong.
Well,
It's
that's
fine.
the
It's a
thing.
fabulous
That's why I'm
ass.
so
Do it.
interested to hear your theories, because I feel like the things you're theorizing about, we don't have answers to yet.
Ooh.
Viren is the magician guy's name. That's it, Viren.
Yeah, so my main theory is about the king, because the last time we saw him and Viren were throwing down, and he came back and he with this 2-headed snake thing, and he was like, "I'm sorry, you were right. I would be willing to lay down my life for you." And then the king just gave him a bunch of shit, and that was the last time we saw the king. And then the elves came, and then they shot off the arrow, and they were like, "The king's dead," and everybody's like, "The king's dead." But they never said what happened with the snake or anything. So.
Right? Yeah, that hasn't been answered yet, so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And-
All I
feel
remember,
like
wasn't there a bird somewhere?
The king had a bird.
Harrow had a bird, and
Yep.
then in the episode we saw today, and I don't even remember that scene. Viren looked at that bird and was like, "What? What do you have to say?"
Yeah, I think that's the king. That's my theory.
Yeah, there wasn't there a transfer of spirits or
That was the whole thing. The snake would transfer a spirit to something else, and so yeah, I was thinking that the bird might be the king, but then again, the band fell off, right? Because that was the thing. The king, if the only way that band will fall off is once those elves finish their mission.
I know.
So the band fell off, but does that just apply to his body,
Right.
or his
Right.
spirit?
That's what I'm
that
saying.
could be the out.
yeah.
Look, we're all on the same page here. Okay, that's weird.
Okay,
This
so
never
that-
happens.
the important thing is I'm not an idiot.
No.
Well,
That's what I'm
Technically,
thinking
we
too.
don't know yet because
Yeah.
we all could be idiots.
Well, if I am an idiot, I'm not alone.
You're not
You're in
alone.
good company. How's that?
Yeah. You're idiots together.
She just met Aunt Amaya. She just met Aunt Amaya today.
I
And
think
that
it's
is the
very cool
deaf
they
one,
have
right?
a character with a disability on there.
She's badass,
so
too.
cool.
You need to,
She's not,
you
and
need-
she's not just badass. She's incredibly cool. I think it's in season 2. I can't wait for you to see it, because I think that this one, it definitely has a little bit more of a slow burn. It doesn't have the "I'm the Avatar, you got to deal with it" moment right in the beginning, you know. But it gets so much more interesting and complicated, and where Amaya's character winds up. I know where she's at right now in the series, where we ended off, and I don't want to spoil anything because it was such a crazy cool surprise, and the whole scene where it happened was really awesome to watch. But I keep remembering all these little bits of like, oh man, these cool things happened, and I still want to know what's going on with this, and who's this guy? Freaking mirror, man, right? Do you remember the mirror?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The mirror, the mirror to another dimension.
I'm like scared to
We
say
don't know.
anything.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't
know. I want to know.
And I remember we're gonna have to start from the beginning because I remember so many bits and pieces, but I don't remember the order in which those bits and pieces. Because one of the coolest scenes was that fight in the volcano.
That's what I'm talking about with Amaya.
And I don't
don't
remember
want to
when
spoil what happened.
I don't remember when that is.
I think that's in season 2. That was such a cool. I love this show. I'm so glad to be watching it again, and I'm glad the kids are into it, and I'm glad Karen's enjoying it enough.
Yeah, the kids seem to like it, and I think that it does help that there's a kid their age in the show.
Yeah. And we're going to get more of him, too, and that's cool. And they like bait, because who doesn't like bait?
Everyone loves bait.
That's the best.
Oh, it really is though.
So
But yeah, that's been fun. And obviously WandaVision's the only other thing I've been watching, I think.
We're caught up.
yeah,
La,
we
la,
just
la.
watched knowing that we were going to be talking to you. We watched episode 6 today, and
Yeah. Holy mother freaking shirt balls, right?
Right? And also, it's been really hard because, like, everyone that I talk to who is into anything even remotely Marvel or nerdy related has apparently decided to watch this show. And it's the first time I've ever been around people who are like, spoilers! And I'm like, I will literally stab you through the internet. Like, no, stop it. So I've had to listen to people be like, have you watched it yet? It's dropping tonight. Have you watched it yet? And I'm like, listen, we don't watch this until Tuesdays. That is Evan's day off, and that is when we watch our television shows. Watch it now. Don't tell him. I'm like, that's not how this works.
I would
mean.
know.
I know. I also told them that. I was like, he has
Smell
the
it on
power.
you.
So when X-Men Quicksilver showed up at the end of that episode,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
I love that they were like, did she recast Pietro?
Those are the things about this show that I love. Like they're
Tongue in cheek.
tongue in cheek. They're not really taking themselves super seriously, especially with like the things that they are doing. And my favorite part is every episode I go, ooh, this is like this was Malcolm in the Middle. Like that, like that's my happy spot. If I know what show they are referencing with their intro, I'm good to go.
Yeah, you've been getting a kick out of that, which has been helpful for me because I don't know what the hell's going on most of the time. So
That
Maybe
and-
the next episode will be close enough to your lifetime that you'll recognize it.
yeah, that's the problem. I
Not
caught
sorry.
a good Easter egg for comic book fans. The name of the street that they're not allowed to go past, which is Ellis, which is Warren Ellis, one of the best.
President Ellis.
One of the
Yeah,
best.
we
Avengers
watch
writers
recaps
ever.
afterwards that go through everything. And yes, it could be Warren Ellis, but it could also be referring to President Ellis.
Well,
what was the cross street, though?
President Ellis. It was.
President Ellis is named after Warren Ellis.
It's
Was
named
named
after
after
Warren
Warren,
Ellis,
yeah.
but
So it's
yeah.
both.
So technically,
Rocky,
yeah.
it was something with an R.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I would. But you see, like, they're doing a really good job with this show. They really are.
Goodness gracious, they are. And that commercial on the last one was like
Somebody
I
explain
so
that to
that
me.
was disturbing.
What I don't understand the most of the commercials.
Well, they're all in some way related to traumas that have happened to Wanda. You know,
That's
there
what I
was
thought.
the Stark toaster, the Stark missile that terrorized her and Pietro. The what was
The
it?
Strucker
the
watch.
Strucker watch. Strucker was the one who gave them their powers through the stone or whatever. What was the third commercial?
The Lagos paper towels.
Lagos paper towels. Lagos was where she the whole
from.
Sokovia Accord incident
Yeah,
happened.
where he dies. Yeah.
Oh no, that's
This
right. That's
one-
that's a different thing. Not where she's from. Yeah. Okay.
This was this one was a little bit more less on the nose, right? Like
Well,
I don't know exactly what this one was going for.
but it was disturbing.
The video that we watched, it was something about like, I don't know, you can have the magic or, oh God, I can't remember what the video we watched was saying.
Oh,
It's
but then
kind of
I
like
watched-
you can
I
have the
watched
magic,
one
but if
on
you can't
Nerdist,
use
and
it the
they
right way, you can't save
explained it
anything.
really well. I have to find it again. So we tend to land on the one that comes from Nerdist. Nerdist puts out really solid, like ridiculously in depth, like when they're looking at license plate numbers and cross-reference them with the comic book issue numbers and stuff. Like,
isn't that the only thing he does from Nerdist? What's his name? What's the founder of Nerdist?
Chris Hardwick?
Yeah, isn't his only gig to dive into television shows and tell us what we're supposed to be seeing?
Oh, it's not him. I don't think he's involved in Nerdist anymore.
No.
Really?
I don't think he is. No.
Damn, that's surprising.
I don't remember who the guy is, but his
name's Dan Casey.
And he knows his stuff.
Okay.
And those are super fun, but this last episode, the Nerdist one wasn't up when we finished watching the episode. Oh. And so we had to like settle for something else. And it was good. It just wasn't as in-depth as the Nerdist one. And the Nerdist one came up with a really interesting explanation of what they thought the commercial meant. And I can't remember what it is now because I watched it in bed and then fell asleep. So.
Well, if it was, when you mentioned the magic, the thing that it made me think of was the concept like the kid gets the yogurt and then he can't do anything. Yeah, and it just comes on like he just slowly sits there and dies, and it kind of makes me think of her in terms of like it's almost like this is what she experienced when she was against Thanos, and like this is her inability to save others. I don't know. It's no, too heady for me. I was
thinking maybe they were tying it into like they still think it's Mephisto's behind everything. And that was like
it was something about the shark could be Mephisto.
Yeah, and like that's the Mephisto deal. He gives you something, but it's like then you can't, like the kid gets the yogurt, but then he can't eat it and he withers away and dies.
How does Mephisto have anything to do with
it? We don't know who the big bad is yet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The running theory is that Mephisto is effectively making Wanda do this because she doesn't know why she started doing this in the first place.
Right.
She doesn't even know how she's doing it currently.
Exactly. She just knows that she is. And it's a pretty big, heel turn for her, right? Like, obviously, yeah, she has been through a ton of trauma, but she, as they pointed out in the video we watched, she's never actually dealt with it.
Yep.
She's just been like one thing to the next. And so, yeah, she's probably got some serious issues. But at the end of Endgame, she was just kind of like hanging with Jeremy Renner by the water. And she never even mentioned Pietro until that episode of this show when they mentioned Pietro dying on
Ultron.
Dying to Ultron. Like, never even mentioned him before. And they're not pulling punches as far as like being very obvious about the fact that this is not like, I thought that maybe they just couldn't get that actor back and they're doing something different because of that. But like they showed his scenes from Ultron in the previouslys and like they very specifically made the back of his head to look like it was going to be Pietro. And then it turns out to be this big bait and switch. And I'm still so fascinated by what that could actually mean. Like, did she pull him from that alternate reality? Like, did she pull him from the multiverse and now he's there? Or
this is an intro to the Doctor Strange movie that is going to be apparently solely dealing with the multiverse.
And
it's called the Multiverse of Madness.
You're talking about Mephisto, so the idea here is if he gives something and then takes something away, like maybe it's like, oh, I'll give you your brother back, but it won't be the brother you knew.
That's
yeah, but also at the same time, they're like, I don't know, they share some memories, which don't seem to be. I don't know enough about his character in the X-Men movies. I stopped watching them after a little while.
He made the right choice.
I think he was in it for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, like he showed up and saved everybody in the last one, and I've seen that scene a bunch of times, and it's super cool.
Yeah, I like him. I like Evan Peters. I think Evan Peters.
I like him too. I still want Kick-Ass back, and the fact that they said Kick-Ass,
that was great. That
Come
was so
on,
great.
Like. Yeah. That's what makes me think it's got this has nothing to do with not being able to get that actor to come and reprise that role. That doesn't even occur to me as a realistic thing because they said Kick-Ass in there.
She said that, and then I turned to him and I said, "That's how we know they're fucking with us."
I think I paused it first. It was like, Did she just say kick ass? And then I rewound it. And
They both said it because he said it and walked off, and then she repeated it. Yeah, like, oh, they're doing something here. This is a thing. Got to pay attention now.
In one of the videos we watched afterwards, they pointed out that actually both Pietros are in the movie Kick-Ass.
That's very true.
yeah,
Yep.
which I didn't even realize.
Yeah, they are.
Fantastic.
So
What-
maybe they're tying in the Kick-Ass verse too.
They're bringing that in too. Nice.
Yo,
could
if I get some
theoretically
Hit Girl, I
exist
will not
within
be
this
sad.
multiverse.
How
That's-
much would I love to see Hit Girl in
Yes.
the MCU?
Hell yes.
So
her
much.
her and Deadpool
It's,
all day, every day.
I would die.
Aren't they
I am
Image?
so excited about this, and I love this. I love that Disney Plus is doing the whole week to week thing. I just love that they're doing event TV like this, where we have a whole
And giving
week.
us a week to like do this exactly what we're doing.
This was so much fun, and I just wish Netflix would do this with Stranger Things, because it would be torturous.
So
but
here's
it would
the-
be so much
It's
fun.
torturous, and you wish for this.
I understand. Well, I understand the words that are coming out of your face. Okay, the words make sense. But as we finished episode 6 today, I went, "Fuck you, Disney Plus," because I want the next one now.
But that's the point. Instant
Exactly.
gratification. Like,
Yeah,
we get
that's
it.
right.
Get
That's
over
what I want.
yourself.
I
We don't
want
need
it-
that all the time.
Yeah, and I feel that way at the end of every episode. I need to know what happens next, and I need to know right now. But I don't, because
still
then
survive,
I
yeah.
don't get the fun of all this.
Yeah.
And I think somebody pointed out earlier. I saw somebody say something similar to this on Twitter, and it really resonated with me that the conversation on WandaVision and Mandalorian are always like, "Did you see it this week? Let's talk about what happened. What do you think is going to happen next?" And the conversation around Stranger Things is, "Have you seen it? Okay, we'll talk after you've seen it."
Right.
That's the conversation that happens with that happened with Cobra Kai. Like, I want to see. I love the way that this is parsing out, and I didn't love it immediately. It was kind of obnoxious. Like, man, I love that instant gratification, but now that I've had a little more time with that being the thing, and also more time of Disney Plus giving us 2 seasons of Mandalorian and now WandaVision, and it's just, no, this is right. This is how you do it, because this not only keeps it in the conversation way longer, but it makes the conversation longer. This is so much fun. Every week watching the episode and then jumping over to Nerdist and watching a recap and figuring out what we missed, and then just theorizing about it all week. That is fantastic. That's the best way to do TV.
But that's, I think, something I've been saying that since like I started seeing shows released in bulk, because I would always say to people, I'm like, but you're gonna miss the conversation. Like, people will be like, exactly what you said. Oh, have you seen Stranger Things? Great. Okay, let's talk about it after the fact. But then like you're covering 10 episodes of something, and I don't remember all of the details of 10 episodes. I'm not going to remember those little moments, or like maybe I'll remember an Easter egg, but I won't remember something else that I thought was cool, like the way that Vision was coming to pieces, or like silly things like seeing 3 characters that are never together in the movies who are really awesome together on this TV show that I'd like to see more of. Like, just there's a lot of different aspects. Oh, the scene, like exactly this, like the scene when Darcy and the other 2, I really only care about Darcy. Yeah, Rambo and the other guy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, they're all sitting there in the room, and the guy is like, you're lucky you weren't here, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, don't let the last 5 years be an excuse for your fear. And like the face they make behind her back, like, oh, she just said that. Because you know that everyone else is like, listen, you're just an asshole, and we all know it. And like, this was her very political way of saying that, like, that's the kind of stuff that I love, those little moments. And when you're trying to remember an entire season and recap it, it's not the same.
Well, doing and conversing about it this way makes each episode more memorable.
Yep.
Like, we'll have in-depth conversations every week, or we could have one giant conversation at the end of the month and not touch upon as many things as we're doing week to week.
Yep.
Yeah, like Evan, you say this a lot, where it all bleeds together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened when. Like, this one I feel a lot closer to. And
It also
I-
helps
I-
that there's so like the first bunch of episodes were so distinctly different from each other. Like that helps carry that memory through. But what the things that I don't like the fact that it's 25 to 30 minutes. Like I understand I'm not going to get another episode. I'm not going to get binged, but give me just a little bit more. Give me to that 42-minute mark kind of thing. Because they can do so much with this. Like
I think they're doing the episode lengths have been pretty different, right? They've been
it's between
all over the map.
25 and so far 25 and 35 minutes, which is short.
It seems to me like they're doing what they want to do to like and sectioning it off like however long they have. They don't have to stick to the 22-minute format. They're like, fuck it, this one's 40 minutes. Enjoy. Kind of like Game of Thrones used to do. They'd be like, well, this one's going to be longer because we have more to tell.
I heard. Is it in our news that they're doing the final episode is going to be a 90-minute episode or something like that? I saw that somewhere.
I don't know where that is.
I think you're talking about DuckTales.
No. I WandaVision. I also saw
I get those two
somewhere.
confused all the time.
Yeah.
While you're looking to figure that out, I did see one critic who was like jumped upon this week because he was saying like, I guess maybe his perspective was coming from just being a fan of the movies and being like, this WandaVision is too long, it's too drawn out, there's too much filler, and all the reaction I saw to his piece was like, you mean like a TV show?
You dick.
Like, come on now. I think we're a little spoiled. Like, it's a show, let it be a show.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's a show and not the WandaVision movie. Like, I don't think this would work as a movie. I think it would be too weird, especially given the the sitcom-y tie-in. It makes sense for it to be episodic.
Yep.
If they did it as a movie, then like I think the changing time periods in each episode wouldn't make nearly as much sense as it makes.
Right. I'm curious to see if her kids are going to be able to stick around.
Well, my theory is that they are real and they're not part of her fabrication.
I think that too. I'm just like, I'm not sure because they've just aged so quickly. Like,
how is that
but
possible?
Vision is actually alive inside of this space, so it could be a thing.
He's also an android. He's not human. Like that.
Yeah, but
He is-
she's
does
magic,
not work
so
with slot
Yeah,
B, so
like when the hex goes away, then maybe those kids survive.
and that's very possible. He could survive also. Like she in the comics has like reality manipulating ability. Like she can do that. Yes, I fully buy that. But I don't ever remember having children. Like I don't know where
in the
that.
comics,
Yeah, I don't remember that being. I wasn't a huge Scarlet Witch and Vision fan. Like I don't remember.
I wasn't either, but thankfully the Nerdist has cleared that up for us. Those two characters absolutely exist, and I
Yeah.
believe that they were aged up, and that like the Halloween costumes that they were wearing and stuff, like those are their powers in the comic books. I forgot their names.
one was speed and the other one was I don't know, something else, something magic.
Speed, Wiccan and Wiccan.
Wiccan.
Oh, okay.
Wiccan. Yep.
Interesting. I just looked it up. So there's a new rumor. Episodes 7, 8, and 9 will be an hour long each.
There you go. You get your wish.
So that's coming from.
You're like
Feige.
Wanda. You just ask for it and you shall receive.
I'm gonna put that in the news feed so we can tag that because this is the news episode.
I also have to say that I loved seeing Vision and Wanda in their classic comic outfits, but we had seen that in the trailer. What I did not
Yeah.
expect was Pietro's classic Quicksilver hair and all was just amazing. That was
And you see how they tried, like in the Avengers movie with Pietro, they tried to sort of make it reminiscent of it because when you go full classic costume, it looks ridiculous.
Yep.
yeah. I do think that most of the outfit stylings in the MCU have been phenomenal adaptations of their original comic book looks.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I just also love it when they find an excuse to give them their original comic book looks, like in Captain America when he was doing the stage show
Yeah.
and he was in that.
I was going to
The
say that was a good
Star-Spangled
example.
Man with a Plan, one of my favorite things in the entire MCU.
Yes.
That if I will just watch that clip on YouTube and it makes me smile. It's on a playlist I have for when I'm feeling down.
I love that you have that. I need that.
I'll send you mine. Perhaps you might like some of the things that are on there.
I'm sure that I will. Speaking of liking things that you like, I have started watching Bridgerton.
Yay!
I am about 15 minutes into the first episode, but I started it, Karen.
Good girl.
So I will get through it eventually, maybe next year.
What did we
Oh,
start?
wait, there was one more thing that we watched
Oh,
that has been recommended to us before, and we finally saw it. We've now seen Bluey.
Yes.
fuck?
the what now?
It's a kids show.
Oh,
Okay.
And it's on Disney Plus. I don't know if it was made for Disney Plus or what.
It has a BBC logo at the end, so I'm assuming it wasn't made for Disney Plus, but whatever.
It's adorable.
Okay.
It's these like family of dogs, and they're Australian, I think.
are they?
So
the
they talk
episodes are
funny?
very
is it a
short.
dingo? Are they dingoes?
No, but one of them's named Bingo.
Oh,
Close enough.
see what they did there.
I did. No babies.
Very cute, short episodes, which is good.
Hmm.
And there's a good bit of, for the parents' humor in
Oh,
it.
cool. Good.
I like that.
There was one where, like, the dad was trying to get some work done at home, and the kids kept bothering him, and then they were like, "Can we play that game where you roll the ball and we run away and jump out of the way?" And he was like, "You mean Raiders?" "Yeah, let's play Raiders." And then they're just like rolling a yoga ball down the hallway, and the kids run away. It was hysterical. I'm like, we got to do that. We have a yoga ball in a hallway.
That is awesome.
That's adorable.
I aspire
So,
to be that
yes.
kind of parent someday.
We are very late to that party, and I don't think there's anyone out there that might be listening and has kids and doesn't already know about Bluey. But if you don't, go for it.
I was there was some sort of Facebook post about this guy talking about his kids doing homeschooling, and he was teaching history, and the kid asked, "Well, when do they, Nazis find out about Hitler, and when do they figure out that that guy found the box that can melt all their faces?" And he's like, "I don't know if I'm doing history bad or I'm doing parenting perfectly by raising them with pop culture." That's true. It's a very fine line. Oh, so is that all you guys were checking out this week?
Oh, I have some things that I
Okay.
was watching.
Go for it.
I did manage to break out of my British Bake Off haze somewhat. I'm back in it, but it doesn't mean it's the only thing I'm watching.
Okay. So you're not British baking. What are you doing now? British what?
Well, I'm trying to think if anything I watched was actually British. No.
Who are you?
Right?
What did you do
I
with
know.
Karen?
Give her back.
Chris, are you okay? Tap on the microphone twice if you're being held against your will. Is there a stranger in the house?
So much tapping.
Anyway, two things really quick. One was from Hulu, and it was like a made for Hulu movie
Okay.
called In and of Itself.
Okay.
It was the filmed performance, or it was a filmed adaptation of a live stage show. One man show is really difficult to describe because it's sort of comedy, it's sort of monologue, it's definitely some like magic, like sleight of hand and doing magic tricks type
Oh, okay.
magic.
Okay.
Not like the guy's a wizard, just, he's a magician.
Gotcha.
Like,
I'm so
literally.
excited.
The guy's name is Derek Del Gaudio. And he tells all these stories, and then, in the course of the story, he is able to incorporate some of these magic tricks, which are pretty cool. And then in the beginning of the show, they have the whole audience, they have a board in the lobby with all these tags hanging on it, and the tag says, "I am And then each I am tag says something different in it. You know, some of them are jobs, some of them are just like a description of a personality, whatever. So you're supposed to, when you go see the show, take whatever tag applies to you. And then when you go in and take your seat, they like rip it like a ticket, and all the descriptions go in a stack on the table on the stage, and you keep your I am half.
Okay.
And he ends up doing all these tricks with the card. I can't spoil the end because the end is kind of amazing. I have no idea how he does what he does other than maybe, wizardry or I don't know, trick photography, trick something. I'm not going to try and figure it out, but it was very cool, very interesting. It wasn't like super funny. I didn't like laugh a lot, but it was like I wish I had seen the show in person because it just had a lot of interesting things to say about like identity and perspective, and I don't know, it was really quite deep and not exactly what I was in the mood for that night, but for some reason I got it in my head that it was like funny, but it was very cool, and I would recommend checking it out. You will definitely walk away from it being like, wow, I had no idea what just happened, but it was cool.
Okay.
The other thing I watched was I started a new show from Netflix that was, just one of their promoted shows in the banner called Teenage Bounty Hunters.
Oh, no.
No.
Karen.
Karen,
I don't know what
why?
that means. What does no mean?
Why?
Tell us everything.
Go ahead.
Okay. It appears to have come out last year. And it's about these two 16-year-old twin girls in Georgia. And they just they get in a car accident in the first episode. And the guy that they get into the car accident with happens to be like a bail jumper.
Okay.
And they like go to like, kind of sort things out with him over the accident, having no idea about the other thing. And he thinks that they're after him because someone, like a car has been following him, and he assumes that it was them.
What you do.
When he like says some threatening or does some threatening things, because it's Georgia and because the girls have their dad's hunting truck, they pull their guns on him.
Nice.
Like
And
you
then
do.
the actual guy who was the bounty hunter who was supposed to be tracking him down shows up, and they end up like catching the guy together. And then the girls, like, there's just a wacky set of circumstances where these two teenage girls end up working as bounty hunters.
Like real bounty hunters. I get you.
Like real bounty hunters, like working with this other guy who is sort of older and not in the great shape. So when they have a runner, like the one girl plays lacrosse, so she's able to chase them down.
Awesome.
And there's a lot of other stuff in it too. Like the girls they're rich white girls, and they go to the Catholic school, and they're in a fellowship, it's a very religious school, and one girl is like the fellowship faith leader for her school, so everything is like, we have to be very religious, we have to be very good, and on the other end of it they're like catching criminals, and it just has a lot of funny, witty things to say about like what religion really means. Like there's one guy they're supposed to catch, and then they overhear him and his friend talking about what he supposedly did, and it turns out he didn't do the crime and he's just covering for a friend. And she's like, well, the Christian thing to do is not to catch this guy, even though we're bounty hunters and that's our job, because we know he didn't really do it, and so like, that's what God would want. And then, of course, they find out that he was lying when he said he didn't do it. And they're like, well, we need to get vengeance because we're good Christians.
Damn.
Oh my god.
And just the way that it uses religion is something that I have not seen before. And it weaves in a lot of like typical high school show stuff, like, people having sex for the first time and, girls' feelings about that. And just, it's a really good show. There's 10 episodes. I've watched the first 2 so far, and I don't see myself stopping at
Nice.
any point.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Very, very fun show.
Cool.
I'm not sure if I'll watch it, but I will listen to you talk about it and be interested.
Yes, when I come, I will we'll
You'll
try
give
to
us an
finish it
update?
by the next episode and come back and let you know
Yeah.
what further develops.
Nice.
But that's what I've got.
Hun, do you wanna? Have you got anything?
I mean, I'm done with Charmed. I can't do it anymore. So that's over.
I forget, was this the new Charmed or the old Charmed?
Yes. I started with the new one. I didn't like that. And then I switched to the old one. And I don't think I can do that. I'm sorry to my Aunt Kim. I have disappointed you. I know.
It doesn't hold up.
She did. No, it does not. She did try. I mean, she put forth the effort, but
Oh, God. I got to the end of the first season. And I was like, how did I even watch this many episodes? I don't even know what was happening. Nothing has happened.
there was time travel. And
Oh
what-
God,
like, I
who
don't
fucking
understand.
cares? Ugh. Anyway, so that was not great. Been watching more British baking show and started Bridgerton. I'm working my way slowly, very slowly, through the end of the current season of Outlander. So I've decided I just enjoy the show for what it is. I'm not going to think too hard about it. I'm just letting it happen. It's nice. But that's it. I mean, I typically watch, like, the reason I'm only like 15 minutes into Bridgerton is because I only watch like 15 to 20 minutes of television at a clip on the days that Evan's not home. So if Evan's not here, I typically just don't watch TV. But I did put my foot down, and I'm super excited because I finally got Evan to start watching Black Sails, and I love that show. And there's also a lot of sex. I totally forgot how much sex there was. Apparently,
There
I'm
was
into
a lot of
shows,
sex.
and there's a lot of fucking.
A lot of boobs, butts. It was a
I like
lot.
watching the boobs bounce. I don't know.
I mean,
Man.
It's actually it's good. It's a well done show.
Yeah.
It's a
And,
pirate show, right?
Yes. The dude from Umbrella Academy, the gorilla,
Luther.
the big guy.
Oh,
He's-
gotcha.
He's in the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it.
It's good.
It's a lot. Like they not all, like, okay, so they all have accents, or some of them have accents, and not everybody is really good at doing the accents. So like all right, one episode's enough for now. Like we haven't binged multiple episodes of this show yet. I'll watch one because they're longer, and I go, okay, that's enough. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. Like, I want to binge. But also, I'm glad that we're taking our time. I just don't want it to be one of those things where we just completely fall off of it, because I will keep going without him. Like, that's, like,
And I feel
love
that you
this
can,
show.
and I could say, well, what did I miss? And you could catch me up
No.
relatively quickly.
No.
I'm sure. But I have faith in you. I think that you can.
I like the pacing, and I like making you watch the history
Yeah, history
and
Okay.
the nudity. History and nudity. God's gifts to man.
We also caught up on Zoe.
Oh.
It's such a good show. We
Oh,
love
wait.
that show.
Season 2?
Yeah.
I forgot that that's out, and I haven't seen any of it yet. Damn.
Yeah. There's
I don't even know if I
6 episodes.
set a DVR recording for that. Shit. I forgot that's a thing.
Don't worry.
I forgot I watch a
because
current show.
It's
There are other
there's
things.
There's a thing for it. It's available to you.
I will get it. Yeah. Thank you.
What
I got to write shit down.
Make a list.
I spent so long
Oh,
watching
I
British
remember now.
Baking Show. I had like a bunch of shows stacked up, and now I'm like, God damn, I have a backlog.
I'm never sorry for that. I would rather put British baking show before everything else, honestly.
We caught up, like I said, we caught up with Zoe. I've been watching a lot of Last Man Standing. It just makes me laugh. I'm almost current with The Unexplained, featuring William Shatner. That man is so good. Goldberg's like I'm catching up on bits and pieces of things here, but the one that I was really excited to watch, and I'm pretty sure that we are both enjoying it equally, is The Watch.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this show? It's based on the characters.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's based on Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels.
Right. Yeah, we saw trailers for that every 14 seconds when we watched the Doctor Who Christmas special.
There it goes.
Or New Year's special.
That's not surprising because it is a BBC American
Oh, so
show.
that's based on a Terry Pratchett property. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's
That
actually-
makes a lot of sense given what I've seen of the show and the commercials.
Yeah. It's very Terry.
It's actually it's really well done. Like the special effects and the costumes and all of that's like the world that they have created. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I like the main cast. I think it's really quirky. Like
It's very Terry.
very Terry.
It's the thing that I like. I think for me, and I don't know, I have to maybe give it another chance. I think I have a hard time with Terry Pratchett's writing because it can be so randomness that it's so much randomness that it can be a little disjointing for me at times. And
the
it'll
show
take
does
me,
do that, yeah.
It'll take me out of the story, but the show doesn't do it the way the writing does. Like when I was reading Good Omens for the first time, it was kind of hard because there were so many things in the margins that I was like jumping around and I'd be like, okay,
It's
what?
my favorite part.
And that's, yeah, like for
Notes.
me, I don't have the attention span for that. Like I start to be like, okay, what the hell is actually happening? Like, why can't you just write like a normal fucking human being? But that is, I understand that is the charm of his writing. And I think that that's part of the reason why I enjoy at least watching the TV shows so much, because I'm getting to enjoy all of that weirdness and quirkiness without having to translate everything in the fucking margins.
I mean, it's funny. Like, it's funny that you bring that up because they are doing that in the show. Like, there's multiple storylines going on at the same time. Of course, there's this love interest here and this main
Goblins.
but there's these three goblins that every once in like they're like lackeys for the bad guys or whomever side they're on at the time. And there's I think two of them are married, but they're fighting, and one says that you don't do that for me anymore. Like, it's a little non sequitur love story that's going on in the background,
But nobody speaks Goblin, so no one ever knows what the fuck they're saying.
and it's all in text. Like they garbly talk to each other, and it's you don't look at me that way anymore. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with what's going on the screen.
It reminds me, Karen, of the way that they did the names of the biker gangs. The formerly so and so, then was formerly so and so, who is now so and so.
People covered in fish.
Yes. Like, that's one of the things that it reminds me of. I feel like the goblins, like, they have, like, I could almost picture him saying stuff like that about them in the margins. So I think that's what I'm liking about it, is I'm getting that visualization without all of the distraction. But I will tell you, we have some Discworld books here, and it's really, I've had multiple people recommend his books to me, and it's really making me
Don't
want
I have
to.
them all? I think I have them
No,
all.
you have several. You have a mix of Robert Jordan or Jordan Robert or whatever, and then Terry Pratchett, but it's not all complete.
Yes.
Anywho,
But the main actor, what's his name? Richard Dormer. He is doing a knockout performance.
oh my god, I love him.
He is amazing in this show. And apparently he was in, what did you say he was? He was in Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Beric Dondarrion? Okay.
Oh, Beric Dondarrion, yeah. Okay.
So he is the main actor in this show. And
I don't know that I would have pieced that together from just the commercials, but I totally see it now.
It took me a minute, but I
Well,
was like, he
even the
looks so
cover art.
familiar.
even the cover art of this show, he's in the background. Like, they are definitely leaning on other characters, but he is the driving force. Like, he is so it takes place in apocalyptic. Wait, I can't remember. There's like this statement at the beginning. It's like the not so distant future kind of thing, but it says alongside this universe.
Yeah.
Where, okay, so to bring down crime, they unionized it.
Yeah.
So there's an assassins union.
They're guilds.
They're guilds, if you will. So in essence, unions. But like one guild can't act out upon another guild. There's a thieves guild, and the police pretty much have dropped down to, you know, stopping puppies from peeing on things. Like that's how the show starts. But there's this this giant thing going on that they need to start doing their jobs again, and he is so should have been washed up decades ago, but now he's bringing the crew together, and it's really I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I am. Visually, it's actually stunning.
Yeah.
So
it's just so fun. The quirkiness just gets me, man. Oh.
Well, based on your feedback and the fact that it's Terry Pratchett, you've sold me on giving it a try at some point.
I'm glad. I really want your...
We watched the first episode, and it's been a while since the first episode grabbed me. I was like, wow, I'm interested in to see where this, like...
we
WandaVision, I was just so confused. That's why I wanted to see, like, this. I was genuinely interested in where this story was going, and I thought it was shorter than it was, but it's not. It's a continuing series. So.
We looked at each other, and we were like, another one? Yep. All right. So that's it on that. I feel like there's something else, but, you know, we've been yammering for a while, and we'll save it for next episode.
Yeah, we should probably get ourselves on to our break because we got a bunch of news to talk about. So we're going to do exactly that when we come back. There will be lots of fun topics to talk about, lots of happy things going on in the world that are going to make for great conversation. You're listening to this week's episode from Geekade.com, so stick around. Are you enjoying the podcast you're listening to right now? Of course you are. But did you know that it's just one part of an entire network of geek-related goodness? Geekade.com is your one-stop shop for fresh original content no matter what your geek is. Each week you'll find articles and podcasts about comic books, horror movies, X-Men, music, video games, music in video games, Transformers, anime, TV shows, tabletop gaming, wrestling, beer, and more. And hey, if you want to help us create even more original content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. That's available at patreon.com/geekade. What's your geek?
Hey folks, I'm Karen. You may know me as a writer for Geekade.com or as a co-host of the This Week's Episode podcast. But did you also know I make and sell all the handmade cross-stitch items available at Shoot the Moon Stitches? I have pieces for many different flavors of fandom, including Star Wars, Doctor Who, Supernatural, The Good Place, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and more. They make great decorations for your home or office and unique gifts for the geek who has everything. I also take commissions to make the perfect piece that suits your fandom and style. You can buy online or find me at your favorite local convention or offbeat art show. Visit Shoot the Moon Stitches on Etsy.com and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at STM Stitches for the latest updates and to see examples of my work. That's Shoot the Moon Stitches for all your handmade, geeky, snarky cross-stitch needs.
Hello, nerds. This is Angie, your fellow podcaster, Geekade staff member, and artist. Do you need presents for this holiday season? Do you need presents because 2020 sucked? I get it. I hear you. I'm here for you. Treat yourself and your loved ones to something special and check out my Etsy store. As an artist with over 10 years experience, I have a little bit of something for everyone. I have wood-burned ornaments, nerdy prints, and original comic art and portraits. Want a commission? I do those too. Go to etsy.com/shop/artofangela or check out my website for samples of my work, commission info, and contact information at angelafernot.com. Shop small, think big.
Geekade is looking for some partners. If you have something you'd like to advertise on any of our podcasts, our powerful overlords are ready to talk to you. Send your proposal to mail@geekade.com with the words podcast ads in the subject line, and our diligent army of trained ants will put you in touch with the head of our advertising department. With a weekly audience that reaches well into the dozens, Geekade is the perfect place to get your ads into the ears of the right people. Once again, that's mail@geekade.com. Send your ad in today.
All right, we are back. We thanks for hanging out for the break and listening to our commercials. I don't even know what we're advertising these days. Who are our fine sponsors? You tell us. Send us an email. Let us know. In the meantime, let's talk about some news because it's a news episode, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about, and it's all super fun, happy news. I'm just kidding. This is pretty depressing couple of weeks, but hey, let's start off with some pretty good news. Comicbook.com reports that The Mandalorian Season 3 to begin filming in April. I'm not sure why this is an article. I feel like we know everything we need to know, but has anybody read this? What can you tell me? What's important here?
Is there
besides
more words than that?
There was just stuff that they were talking about where it was like things that are going to be incorporated into the season that they're thinking of, and the guy who's playing Moff Gideon, I forgot his name, Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. He was saying something about how he thinks they're going to be exploring a lot more of his story, so we'll be seeing more of him. And I always like seeing him on screen, so that made me happy.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
But that's
Sweet.
it. There was nothing
Hey.
else of substance.
Thank you very much for letting us know that Mandalorian Season 3 is indeed happening.
Yes, and should be released by the end of this year,
Fingers crossed.
hopefully. Please let
Let's see.
us have this.
Meanwhile, over on CBR.com, what does CBR stand for?
Comic book resources.
Resources. Isn't that just paper and staples? Whatever.
Yes.
Your paper and staples.
Netflix's Sandman casts Dream, Gwendolyn Christie, to play Lucifer.
Yeah, they actually released all the casting, or like a lot of casting for Sandman, but the article that we linked featured Gwendolyn Christie because she's probably the biggest name. But that's cool.
Tom Sturridge is Dream.
Yep.
Gwendolyn Christie is Lucifer, ruler of hell. Hey, why are you going that way? Hey, website. There we go. Charles Dance is Oderic Burgess. Wasn't that
Yes.
Tywin Lannister?
Yes,
It was.
Boyd Holbrook. Why do I know this guy? He's the Corinthian. That guy looks familiar. I don't know why. Maybe he's just got one of those faces. I can't read this name because the website has cut off the beginning and the end of it. Is playing Lucille.
Lucienne.
What is it?
Lucienne. Is the
Lucienne?
character's name, not Lucille.
Oh, is there? Yes, that's the name of the character. Sorry. The actress, though, it's
I can't read it from here.
Vivienne. There's a bunch of letters missing on either side, so I'm
Oh,
sorry.
good.
Ashampong?
Thanks, website.
Ashampong?
Yeah. Vivienne Achimpong, maybe? All right.
It's, the one I'm looking at is so tiny that I can't enlarge it.
I just like letting you guys butcher this, and I do not want to try and fix it.
Sanjeev Bhaskar is Kane. I also don't know who that is. Asim Chaudhry is Abel. And that's a picture of Sandman. And this is a link to the article that I'm currently reading. Thanks.
Anyway,
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm in.
I'm
You
in.
didn't need to cast Gwendolyn Christie to get me to watch the show, but you did, so thanks.
Appreciate you.
Now, did you read Sandman? Did any of you read
This is
Sandman?
one of my secret shames is that I own it, but I never finished it.
Okay.
I love Neil Gaiman; he's my favorite author, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I'll still watch the show.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I've only ever read about Sandman, and a lot of people have said that I would like it, and I've even got a piece from an artist who drew one of the characters, and I still to this day have only ever read about it. I've never actually read it because the covers were often really cool, but a lot of the art styles would change. Like even within an issue, there'd be a lot of different art styles, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get into it.
And I feel like the story was very meandering and hard to get into.
Yeah, some people have said that as well, but it's inspired a lot of spin-offs, and I mean it's known as one of the most important series in the last
Comics
30
history.
years. Yeah, well, yeah, like it was one of the first graphic novels to be on the New York Times bestseller list kind of thing. So like it definitely reached a lot of popularity. But But it was just, yeah, it was, and despite my love of like indie titles, it was a Vertigo title, but like, it just didn't do anything for me. But I have a friend who was working on one of the spin-off series for a while, and I do feel like I owe it to everyone who has ever said that this is a series I would love to finally read it. So now that there's like also a show being made, I want to know what's going on. I'm gonna read it so I can just hate watch it like I do everything else when I read the comic first.
I'm hoping that the show will be a little more accessible, and so that I can finally understand it, and then maybe if I understand it from the show, then I can go back to the books.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. But yeah, cool. Looking forward to it. Do we know when it happens? When it's coming out?
No.
Eventually.
Eventually. Cool. All
At
right.
some point.
2000 sometime.
Yeah, I love that date. It's my favorite date.
Next up, from BloodyDisgusting.com, Robert Rodriguez reveals that a From Dusk Till Dawn animated series is in the works.
What?
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea why this is happening.
And in that article, it says it continues from the television show.
Yes, it
There was
does.
a television show?
Yes, there was. It was not good. Oh my God. So I had been watching it, and I had a friend who was obsessed with this. And especially because there is a female character in this series who she like loves and just thinks she's like the sexiest thing ever and like wants to be this woman. And I was like, okay. And so she sent me a link about this, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, I couldn't even get through season 2 of this show, and it was only 3 seasons. But, I mean, it's still kind of fun. I think people, if they're into it, they're gonna get something. I honestly don't know what you can do with an animated version of this. I really, really don't. So, and I don't know if it's gonna be, like, goofy, or if it's gonna be serious, or dark. I don't know. So
All of the above.
My friend Adam used to love this movie, and I watched it with him a bunch of times. I thought it was very cool. I haven't seen it in probably around 25 years. Is the last time that I've seen it. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
the
don't think I
series
have
did-
much in the way of interest here.
the show did not have like super comedic vibes. Like it was just dark, gritty.
vampire
Vampire shit.
monsters, whatever.
And there were a couple of movie sequels too, right? Like straight to video.
Probably.
I think so. Oh, I honestly didn't care enough to look. Oops.
I know there was at least one because I remember seeing it.
Bordello,
in
was it?
video
No,
stores.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, let's solve this.
Oh no. We're
Video
falling down-
stores. Didn't you guys used to?
No. Someone on my
We don't
Facebook
speak of
posted
that.
they found a couple of Hollywood video movies from that they forgot to return from like 91. And I immediately jumped on there and went, God, that's why we went out of business, because of people like you son of a bitch.
You
So
just
let's
spread
see.
the
We
love.
have From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas
Electric Boogaloo?
Blood Money.
Ooh.
That was released. Let's see. This had. It doesn't look like
Previews,
anybody
no.
recognizable on the cover. Starring Robert Patrick, Bo Hopkins, Dwayne Whitaker, Muse Watson, Brett Harrelson, Danny Trejo. Oh, okay. And Raymond Cruz.
If I'm not
Sounds
mistaken,
forgettable.
anything that you say from this point forward, the common thread will be Trejo.
From this was in 1999, and then we had From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter. This starring, and as Mystery Science Theater would say, I have my doubts that this movie is starring anyone. Marco Leonardi, Michael Parks, Rebecca Gayhart, Lenny Lofton, Araceli, Jordana Spiro, Orlando Jones, Danny Trejo,
There it
Tamora
is.
Morrison. Wow, Tamora Morrison. Way to go, buddy. And Sonia Braga.
I think you're just saying words.
All words are made up. And then there was the From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. So let's see. The original movie was, what year was this? It was 96. Then the sequel was 99. The third one was 2000. And then the TV series was 2014.
Really?
So 14 years after the third movie, they did a TV series.
Because people were clamoring for it. They're like, damn, give me some Dusk Till Dawn on my TV.
You know what franchise needs to have more love in my life is From Dusk Till Dawn. That original movie was great, and the sequels were on film.
Fantastic.
The sequels were on film.
Anyway, let's see. Variety.com reported, in fact, everybody reported it, but the one I'm looking at here, Dustin Diamond, Saved by the Bell actor, dies at 44.
Aw.
Shame.
Yeah, that was a little rough to read about. I don't know if you guys read the full article, but he led a troubled life.
Yes, he did.
He had a hard life, and when this news broke, it didn't surprise me in the least, because he's had so many run-ins with bad situations over the years, and it's super sad and super gross how everything about Saved by the Bell in retrospect is super sad and super gross. But this was a tragic end to a pretty tragic life.
Yeah, and it said that he was only hospitalized like 3 weeks ago, like diagnosed and hospitalized 3 weeks ago. So I guess like it happened very quickly, which people were like, we're glad he didn't suffer. So that's something, but it sounds like his whole life was suffering. So I don't know. I hope he's at peace.
Same.
Ugh. Rough.
Anything to cheer us up, dear?
This is kind of cool. From Deadline, skip ad. Thank you, Deadline. Black Panther Helmer Ryan Coogler stakes his proximity media banner to 5-year exclusive Disney television deal. Wakanda series in the works for Disney Plus.
Look at that. The headline was the article. Nothing more to read.
That headline was basically an article. It was a lot of headline.
Words. So many words.
I'm sure the body of the article will tell us how much money he's getting and who his agent is and all his past projects, none of which do we care about.
Okay. I actually went through it, and I'm going to be honest. I didn't read that closely, I guess, because I didn't see that much. They were basically just talking about, like, how much Black Panther made. And
yeah, I'm looking at it now. Like, this is just telling me about, like, I know about Black Panther. That's why I'm reading the article.
Yeah, like, they basically are just talking they are talking about, like, Coogler's background, but essentially they're just like, oh, we're looking forward to this. It's going to be great. And, like...
But we have a minimum word count, so let's get to work.
Yeah, like, that's kind of how it feels. So I'm happy about this, I guess. I don't really have any attachment.
Wakanda show would be cool.
Look, if I'm gonna get a show about Manape, like or whatever, because they never actually called him Manape in the movie, but what's the guy from the other tribe that was
Was it M'Baku?
M'Baku? Yeah, we can just get an M'Baku show of just him being awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
I wouldn't
I'm here
complain.
for
I'll
it.
take 2. Yes.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's just one of those, like, again, that didn't need to be a whole article, but I get it.
The internet is a thing.
Yeah.
Could
Okay,
have been a
speaking
tweet.
of the internet being a thing, Deadline.com. CAA drops Marilyn Manson after Evan Rachel Wood's abuse allegations, follows acts from American Gods and Creepshow.
Yay! Consequences.
Again, as long as the allegations are proven to be true, I am fine with all of it. Just proven to be true. That's all I'm gonna say.
Were they in a relationship? Are they?
He was
know
grooming
anything.
her.
He was what?
Grooming. He was like, how do I explain it? He was, behaving inappropriately, given their age difference, but sort of like.
Okay, so I must be thinking of a different. Okay, so who am I thinking? Rachel Woods, Evan.
And Rachel Wood.
I thought it was someone completely different. I thought, who is the woman? Continue. I'm gonna look it up. Who I thought this was about? It was a Freddie Prinze Jr. movie where the girl takes off her glasses and all of a sudden she's hot.
She's all that.
Yes. Who is that?
Not this person.
That's what I thought this was about.
Oh, no.
No.
I know who you're thinking of, and I can't place her name, but
Continue. I'm sorry.
She's 33. How old is Senor Manson?
Not 33.
Rachel Lee Cook, by the way.
Rachel Lee Cook. There you go. That's the 3-name thing.
He's 52. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And she was like a teenager when they were hanging out. Like this
Oh,
happened
no.
a while ago, and
Like what was it, Kanye West or whatever was doing with Millie Bobby Brown?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that kind of thing.
Just, I'm an older guy and I'm not going to do anything quote unquote illegal, but I'm going to put myself in this situation.
I'm gonna
in this
be
position
here.
so that as soon as you are legal, I will do something about it.
And I will have convinced you that it is like we will already have a relationship that, where you trust me.
God, sounds like a Twilight novel.
It's all very, very bad.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not, this would not surprise me if it were true. Again, the whole thing with, like, allegations being made, I am happy when people speak out because I am inclined to believe a person when they do. I just want to make sure that, like, again, we've talked about this so many times. Just consequences.
Due process has
yay.
to be a thing.
Due process involved. Yes.
And by the same token, I just don't buy that there are women out there, that many women out there making these things up.
Oh, fuck no.
For whatever reason.
No, I just think it's important that I make the statement of, like, yes, I believe I believe that this is likely. I would just like to see that it's proven in some way. Due process. But yeah, fuck that guy, honestly. It doesn't surprise me at all.
He scares the crap out of me.
I love his
He's
music.
scary.
That's what
Really?
sucks. Yeah.
I do
Interpretation-
not.
Loose interpretation of the
I'm
word
glad
music.
he's off of a show that is associated with my favorite author, so.
Yeah, if he's gross. Anyway.
So
Yeah.
are we gonna fall down the Josh Whedon hole that is this
Yeah,
week?
it's
Yeah,
leading
let's-
into that.
let's-
and
This is funny because this was posted, I think, before a lot
Yes.
of the stories were happening, but earlier on, let's see, February 3rd, Karen posted that there's a trailer for Joss Whedon's The Nevers. We can watch a teaser for HBO's Victorian sci-fi drama. That sounds neat.
It looks pretty baller.
Meanwhile, let's swing back to that in a bit. Meanwhile, Joss Whedon has found himself in some hot water yet again. I had to actually ask Karen about this, and because I was like, didn't we already kind of know Joss Whedon was a scumbag? Like, wasn't that a thing? And apparently, like, it just doesn't stick. But
yeah,
yes,
apparently we didn't know it enough.
yeah. So, Charisma Carpenter. I actually don't know the whole story. Somebody who's better at explaining this whole thing, please explain it for me.
Charisma Carpenter made a statement saying that she suffered like basically emotional abuse during Angel, I think.
Buffy
Yeah.
and Angel. She said the entire
Buffy
time
and
she was on
Angel.
set with him. Yeah.
And
But it
you
was
know,
it was specifically about Angel because of her getting pregnant, basically.
Mm-hmm. yeah, she got pregnant and basically got fired because of it. And he was just basically, the way she told it and the way other people seem to have confirmed it is that he's just very casually cruel to people. He is mean to them and thinks it's funny. And it's been confirmed or at least supported by a lot of the female stars of Joss Whedon shows have come out to support her. Michelle Trachtenberg reported that she was not allowed to be alone in a room with him when she was playing Dawn on Buffy, which, I mean, good for the crew for doing what they could to keep her safe, but at the same time, and I know this was a different time, but like if that is a situation, if there's a person that needs to be kept away from a young girl for her safety, like that situation needs to be addressed, not just like by let's just keep them apart.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah. And Sarah Michelle Gellar came out and basically was like, I don't want to be involved in this, but also I support whatever Charisma Carpenter is saying. Like, basically, like, it was something like, I am proud of my time on Buffy, but do not wish to be associated with Joss Whedon ever again. Like, it was a very definitive, like, yeah, I know what you fucking did. And there's definitely, there's a standing. And this whole thing actually came out because he wrote Cyborg out of the next Justice League movie or whatever it was.
It was the Flash movie, I think.
Or Flash movie, that's what it was. Yeah, Flash movie, thank you. So yeah, like it literally wasn't even about these women at first, and then they just started coming out because of the fact that, like, she saw that, you know, he casually just wrote someone off who didn't agree with him, and it was like, stop being on this fucking power trip. Like,
and if somebody had held him accountable at some point in the last 20 years, you know, that wouldn't have happened to Ray Fisher.
Right. That's the name, Ray Fisher. Thank you. I was trying to remember.
No problem. I got you, girl.
Huge bummer. I'm a big fan of some of Joss Whedon's work.
That's, yeah.
Like, really big fan of some of his work.
It's
but
easier for me to think
It's
what we're not a fan of. Like, that's the hitch in all of this.
what's that?
Like, it's more difficult to say what we're not a fan of his creations wise.
I can't even think of it.
I'm not a huge Buffy fan. I thought his salvaging of Justice League was an absolute disaster.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I don't even
I guess
blame him
it's
for
not
that.
completely fair. And as much as I love the movie, he kind of botched Age of Ultron. But, you know, whatever. He wrote Astonishing X-Men, which I friggin' adore. And he directed the first Avengers, which is an amazing movie. Firefly. And, you know, Dollhouse was neat. I don't know. There's a lot to love there, but it always sucks when something that good comes from.
Gets tarnished by.
Yeah, it gets tarnished because it's like.
There's a lot of other people involved in making those things. So, like, just because this guy sucks and he was the one in charge doesn't mean it's ruined forever, in my opinion.
Right.
Now, the question is, are there any actual, like, sexual assault allegations, or is he just a colossal asshole?
Colossal asshole seems to be the primary lead here, but I don't know for sure. Karen, I feel like you might know more.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody actually accuse him of any sexual misconduct, but colossal asshole to the point where if it was any other workplace, like HR would have stepped in.
Yeah, like,
You know
there
what
have
I'm
been
saying?
mentions, like, the emotional abuse is so strong and so absolute that, you know, like, Charisma Carpenter's post on Twitter was like 2 fully written pages that talk about her needing, like, years of therapy and, you know, needing other people to kind of remind her of, like, her own humanity. So, I mean, it's
and feeling threatened to the point where she was the breadwinner in her family and she had a new baby and she just had to, like, put up with whatever so she could keep her job.
So it's definitely the kind of situation where I think a lot of people have been in that position where you have this horrible boss and you don't really know how to stand up to them, and it just breaks you down over time. I mean, you see stories about it all over the place, and this just happens to be one of those instances where, you know, it sucks because he makes great stuff. Like, I really do get excited when I see his name attached to things. And it's just another case of, like, you have to separate the creator from the content, because in this case, like, he works on things like the Nevers. It looks like he stepped down from the Nevers. Like, it looks like he started this process and then kind of like, yeah, all right, you got this, I'm walking away. So great, good, get the fuck out. Like, hopefully this will still be awesome. But
I guess that's the point that I was getting to, is, like, I feel like just being a colossal asshole, you will always have done that damage, but it seems like the kind of thing that a person can sort of come back from as a person and make amends for a little bit easier than physical sexual assault. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like we're talking about degrees of absolute utter horror right here, but it's like, I'd put it slightly below the absolute utter horror of actually sexually abusing somebody. Not much below, but it's a little bit less profoundly awful. So
I think it really
know.
depends on what we're not seeing, though, because I would say
Yeah.
like if this is as serious as it sounds, it's long-term verbal and mental abuse, which is equally, if like in some cases it's almost worse than sexual abuse to some people because there are no visible signs, there are no scars, like
Yeah, that makes sense.
so and then that's the thing is I never like to be the person who's like you're saying, oh, maybe it's not as bad as, and I'm saying, well, maybe it's worse than, or the reality is all of it's bad, none of it.
Yeah,
like,
you're absolutely right.
and but I understand what you're saying. Like you're looking for that positive, like that light at the end of the tunnel. And the reality is like, this is just a shit situation with a shitty person. And it sucks because they made something that we love. Somewhere in our lives, we've experienced something we love because of this dickhead.
I think what I'm trying to say is that as a human being, it seems more possible for Joss Whedon to maybe learn something from it. Like I don't feel like most of the I feel like for the most part, any sexual abusers out there are probably not coming back from that internally. Like, I don't think they're going to ever want to not want to. I'm in over my depth here. Bottom line is,
I heard the
I'm not. The
paddling.
words aren't coming out right. It just seems like asshole behavior is the kind of thing that somebody can eventually possibly overcome as a person.
You're looking for a path to redemption for Joss Whedon, even though there may not be one. You're trying.
But no, he's saying
I'm not
that
even.
there is,
I'm not
there's
saying that.
a better
I'm not
possibility
even
for
saying
that
I'm rooting
path.
for him to. I'm just saying that I feel like it's potentially possible for a human being who grew up being an asshole to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be an asshole. Maybe
Yeah.
I've done a lot of damage and I should stop being an asshole, and then try to be better. Whereas, like, I will never, ever, ever in a billion years trust what's his face, Louis C.K. with anything ever again. Like, that ship has sailed. I could potentially believe that Joss Whedon potentially someday, or somebody who's just a colossal asshole, learned the error of their ways and tried to be better for the rest of their days. I think that's what I'm trying to get to.
One would hope.
One would hope.
I just need to throw in a tiny comment on this story about it was bothering me when it first happened that there were no men in the casts, or no like Whedonverse dudes speaking up like in support of Charisma. And then Tony Head got interviewed and asked about it, and he was like, I didn't know it was happening and I feel horrible. Like, okay, fair. Nobody else, David Boreanaz, nothing.
No, he has one. I will tell you, because I'm that petty. I looked for one from him because I was like, you motherfucker. It says on Twitter on February 14th, I am here for you to listen and support you. Proud of your strength. Heart, prayer hands. Fuck you, David Boreanaz. You and your beautiful six-pack abs.
What else is he supposed to do?
No, it's actually, I'm just jealous because I love
He's
David
supposed to do
Boreanaz.
more than 140 characters is what he's supposed to do.
No, me being saying I'm petty is me literally just being like, it's just you probably didn't know either, or even if you did, like, you've had your own shit. Like, he's had his own scandals, so maybe he was too busy in his own bullshit at the time to even notice, or maybe he did notice and he was too scared to say it. Like, we have no idea. We literally have no way of knowing.
What we do know is the reason that Nicholas Brendan didn't speak out about it. Nobody else saw this.
I did not.
He was asked and he was like, I'm a little busy in my personal life to comment on this right now. I'm having surgery because I have a paralyzed penis.
What? I'm sorry.
And the only reason I know this is I saw it on Twitter, and they had like screen capped that part of the article when he said it, and what the Twitter poster had said was a simple no comment would suffice.
Hasn't he went down a pretty bad dark path as well. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
As I'm looking him up, it's his Buffy picture right next to his mugshot. So yeah, I'm gonna go.
Right.
He had some issues too.
And that's kind of a shame, you know, like who knows what happened to him on that show. Maybe he was, you know, maybe
Doesn't he
he
have a-
was a
doesn't he have a
victim as
twin brother,
well,
too?
and that's what ended up sending him on a dark path.
I need to not read these Twitter comments. Ugh, okay. So let's
So
say
Golden Globe. Wait.
Yeah. So the Golden
I was going to say
Globes.
let's move on, and I just want to say I'm proud of somebody for speaking up if they held their tongue for a really long time, and I think it's important for people to remember that just because your boss is an asshole, it does not mean you don't have power, right? I think we can all agree on that.
100%.
Sure.
Okay.
Unless I'm the boss. Which I'm not. I'm never the boss. Anywho.
But you are an asshole.
I am an asshole. Yes.
But you're mine,
Oh.
and I love you.
Golden Globes.
Yes, the Golden Globes. Karen messaged us this one from TVLine.com. The Golden Globes, Crown leads TV nominations, Flight Attendant, and Ted Lasso among first-timers.
I mean, this is like, if there's anything to award this year, it's TV, right? I mean, it's not like there's going to be an
Is there anything
Oscars.
else?
I would say that's fair. I just never cared about the Golden Globes. I've never.
How
Golden Globes is
is
the best one, though. I mean, not this year because it's not going to be in person, but they are allowed to drink, in the audience. That's why the Golden Globes is the best one because it's fun.
What do you get like great reactions from the audience because of this? Are there stories that I don't know?
Yes,
Or?
I mean, I don't know any specific stories to tell you, but like, people have gotten up to accept words drunk.
Yes, done.
It's just
Sold.
a looser atmosphere. It's not as serious as the Oscars or the Emmys.
Okay.
I'm not buying any of this now. Zoe's is not up for comedy or musical series, so this is all bullshit.
And now it's
she
dead to me.
is.
That's great. It, them, all of it.
The thing
hath
about the
spoken.
comedy categories is that nothing else matters because Schitt's Creek's going to win everything. I'm sorry. Try again next year.
Emily in Paris. Come on. The Flight Attendant.
I like that Ratchet is a fucking drama. What?
The weirdest
Technically.
category was like the supporting actress one. It's like series, TV, movie, or miniseries. What? So everything.
Yeah.
Best supporting actress in everything.
The hell?
That's where you have Annie
Wow.
Murphy from Schitt's Creek against Gillian Anderson on The Crown and Helena Bonham Carter on The Crown. What?
Yeah. That's just.
Bananas.
I don't even know.
Figure out your categories, Golden Globes. You know me. I love award shows. I'll be there. For
Yeah,
it.
you will.
Especially since like a fair number of things I actually watch are nominated. I don't know if like the Golden Globes tastes is getting better or if my taste is getting better. Like if they're picking more things I like or if I'm starting to watch more things that are like more likely to be
Considered
nominated.
good like that.
I don't know.
That's a very good question, actually. And now I'm curious. Yeah, because I at least recognize the names of a lot of this stuff, even if I haven't watched it. I can't believe Better Call Saul is actually on this list, though, because I forgot that was even a show.
No, it is.
I mean,
Been on for a while.
I thought it was done ages ago. I guess not. I don't know.
Well, by the time of our next show, it will have happened and we can all celebrate together or whatever.
And you can tell me everything.
I sure friggin' will.
Meanwhile, Entertainment Weekly brings us the exclusive Watch Soleil Moon Frye navigate life as a divorced mom in first trailer for Punky Brewster revival.
Yay!
I'm not only I watched Punky Brewster when I was younger. I enjoyed the show, but not only I'm pleased, but not just it coming back, but that Freddie Prinze Jr. is getting his turn at the wheel on television. So I feel if anybody deserves the shine, it's him.
I feel I have nothing else to say about this because I've never seen Punky Brewster. I'm so sorry.
Well,
You're a baby.
I barely remember it from when I was a kid. I remember. I don't think I've ever actually seen the live action show. I think I just saw the cartoon.
Okay.
I barely remember it. I just remember the name Punky Brewster, and I remember that I enjoyed that cartoon at some point when I was a little kid. So yeah, I don't know. This is a thing.
The trailer looked cute. It looked like sort of a typical, like, single mom takes on the world kind of sitcom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a watch just to see, because it looks like something that I would find entertaining. But yeah, well, me and my whole 15 to 20 minutes of television.
You
Okay.
said Freddie Prinze Jr. getting his stab at television, but that man was Kanan Jarrus in Star Wars Rebels, so...
Not as his real face, because then you could see his real face and go, "Oof, time was not nice to Freddie."
Yeah, but he and Sarah
I
are
think
still
he
together.
looks fine.
I love them. Look, we're all aging, honey, and you know what? We're all old. We're not. It can't always be graceful.
Except for
I
you.
think he looks just fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't know.
She not for nothing. She has not really like years and years and years and years ago. There was this thing where she had to stop acting because she became too Zoftic. She became very, 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 very well endowed. Where it
Who?
was Soleil, the
Oh, okay.
Punky. Like her boobs became too big, and she actually had to have multiple surgeries to reduce them. And that, I'm gonna say, was 25 years ago, give or take. And she looks exactly the same now as she did then. She has not aged a day. God bless that woman.
Good for her.
That's great. I think.
That's why she stopped being punky, because she grew up. Let's just say she grew up too fast.
Well, speaking of growing up in strange ways, comicbook.com Powerpuff Girls live action series gets a pilot order from the CW. This strikes me as an awful idea.
Horrible idea.
Yeah. And it's CW, so it's dead to me
It's going to
now.
be gritty. It's going to be dark and gritty. You know, that children's cartoon.
I loved Powerpuff Girls so much that I can't even say that. I'm lying. It's not dead to me. I'm so intrigued. I want to know
The
more.
original Tartakovsky's Powerpuff Girls, amazing. That show definitely holds up. That show's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's such a cartoon.
Yeah.
So what exactly I'm trying to find the exact wording of it. Like, isn't
Tell
it
me
about
how you're going to handle Mojo Jojo.
Oh,
but, like, they're grown up and like tired of saving the world, and the part of the joke is that these things that are the Powerpuff Girls are very distinctly not the same creatures that the human beings are. They have no fingers or toes. They're just they're creepy bug-eyed girls. Like, that's the thing. What are you going to do to make them? I will be watching this with a similar horror as I will be watching the Snyder Cut.
Oh,
Well,
I can't
there was
wait for you to watch the Snyder Cut, by the way.
I'm so excited.
excited.
I have considered waiting for the riff tracks though, because it didn't even occur to me until Bill Corbett tweeted about the Snyder Cut. I was like, oh no. This is going to be so perfect for riff tracks. That might be the way to do this, because that way I don't have to actually spend 4 hours watching this very serious superhero movie
For grown-ups.
for grown-ups.
For grown-ups, not your grandpas.
Yeah,
Looks
the only
awful.
way this movie should exist is as a riff track, so I am on board for that.
The only thing I will say about the Powerpuff Girls thing is, in that article, Tartakovsky is quoted as saying,
Why not?
talking about things going from animation to live action, and he thinks it can be done with anything, but he thinks there needs to be a reason to do it. So, presumably
good
this
enough
needs
one?
to have been done with his blessing, and I don't think he would have given it if there wasn't, some kind of logic that he bought behind it. So maybe
I'm not 100% sure where that is, because they did reboot Powerpuff Girls, the cartoon, not that long ago, and from everything I've heard, it is a soulless shell of what the original was. So I don't know. Maybe they did it. Maybe he doesn't need to sign off on it.
Yeah,
Which is
maybe.
kind of heartbreaking, but that kind of thing happens all the time.
Well, he's just,
Disillusioned 20-somethings who regret spending their youth fighting criminals. The question lingers of whether they can swallow their resentment long enough to come back together and save the world when it needs them most.
CW.
the fact that I said
They ran out of
disillusioned.
Arrowverse. They got to put something on there.
I just hate that entire concept. They were... Ugh. It just seems like such an absolute betrayal of what those characters were, and... Like, you're painting Professor Utonium as a bad dad. That dude was just trying his best.
Painting Professor Plutonium as a bad dad. Remember that, kids.
He was just trying his best. Look, he
Anyway,
made them
in
in
the
a
good news
lab.
department, Gizmodo, as well as many other places on the internet, are reporting that Gina Carano is no longer a part of Star Wars.
She'll be missed.
Oh,
So
well.
no one ever. I already talked to somebody about who should replace her, and I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Who
you,
talk to?
ever
Was it
watch?
someone at Lucasfilm?
Did you ever watch Once Upon a Time?
Yes.
Regina. The
Okay.
the brunette, like
Similar face. I see that. I mean, the entire internet seems to be saying Lucy Lawless, and I'm on board with that.
I mean, that's just because of who Lucy Lawless is. Yes, I will go for that one. But
I think
I also
looks-wise,
say just kill
I
her
just-
off screen and be done with it.
they don't.
That's fine.
she's-
I
it's
did
fine,
see a
leave her off.
comic this morning that was saying that it was a conversation between Mando and the black dude. And he was like, "So what happened to?" And he's like, "Oh, she died. Space dysentery. She just pooped herself to death. It was legendary."
Yes, I am all for it.
I mean, look, she was... I liked the character, and I was kind of disappointed when I found out that she was a parlor nutbag, but I didn't love the character.
You didn't love it enough for her to actually be a parlor nutbag? Like, she
Well,
didn't work?
it's not like... It was like, man, Cara Dune is such a really cool and interesting character. It was like when they quote unquote killed off Ming Na's character, I was pissed.
Yes.
Like, no, you don't do that. That was awesome. But then they didn't do that, and that was also awesome. But she's just like, she was okay, and Gina Carano wasn't all that good at acting.
You could
So-
say it. She's not a good actress. She is stoic. Like she presents well. Her acting chops, not so much there.
Yeah, one of my
Yeah,
friends made a good point. She was like, I think cardboard brings more to the table than she does. I was like, wow, okay, but also, okay.
I mean,
So-
that's a little brutal. She wasn't awful or anything, but when you're Pedro Pascal, like, emotes through a freaking Mandalorian mask, you know, that dude can act.
He emotes with no face.
When you've got her next to him, it's like the disparity is gigantic. So I don't know. I'm not going to miss her. I don't think they should recast the character. I think they should just kill her off and replace her with somebody else who is very similar, which won't be hard because it's not
So
like
wait,
there's
her
a
character
shortage
became
of
the sheriff
rebels out there.
somewhere. What happened?
Was
to
that?
What did her character become? She became.
Yeah, some kind of law enforcement.
Galactic Sheriff.
Yeah, galactic
So
sheriff.
bring in what's his name? The guy that had Boba
Get
Fett's
Space Raylan Givens back
Yeah.
in there. I'm in.
Heck yeah.
Apparently, she was going to
please.
be involved in that whole Star Wars
Rangers.
Rangers of the New Republic or something like that show, and that's effectively one of the reasons that they didn't announce her as it when they announced as the star of it because they were like looking at her like, well, I don't know. Let's see where this lands. Let's see where this sticks. Let's see if she could just don't go on
no.
Twitter and be an awful person. And then she just couldn't do that. So, okay, if you're
bye.
going to insist on being as awful as you can, then
You don't get to have that job.
yeah.
Yep.
Apparently she's already working on a movie with some other clowns. So whatever.
With some other clap.
It'll go direct to video. It'll be fine. She'll be fine.
In pretty nifty casting news, Hollywood Reporter tells us Last of Us, there's a TV series being an HBO limited series based on the hit video game The Last of Us. The Game of Thrones breakout Bella Ramsey to star as Ellie.
Yes.
That works.
do it.
Yeah, there was a lot of like internet complaints immediately because she doesn't look anything like. I don't know if it's Ellie or Elle. I think it's Ellie. I don't remember how they say it in the game because I've never played it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't remember.
I don't need my games to depress me that much. But and Pedro Pascal is also going to be the dude Joel in this. So it's great casting.
Is it easier just to say what Pedro's not doing? Because that guy's all over the place now, isn't he?
You know, it's weird. What else has he done other than Mandalorian and Wonder Woman?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but that was enough. Like, he's now. It seems like every third thing.
He doesn't.
He's been discovered. Dude's getting work because he earned it. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm going to be honest. He doesn't do it for me. I don't.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
I know. I know.
Sorry, sweetie. I love you, but I don't know what's wrong with you.
No, it's fine. It's literally, I expected this. I knew Chris was going to move along, and I was like, no. I'm going to make it known right here, right now. I don't get it.
This is the hill you die on.
From an attractive standpoint or as an actor?
Yes. He is not attractive at all. Not a good-looking man. He is an average man. But he does a good job of the roles that he is in. I just like the obsession with him. I thought he was too much in Wonder Woman, and I thought that in
everything in Wonder Woman was too much.
Yeah, but like I don't know. The other actors were not as too much as he was in that movie, and
I don't think that was his fault.
Yeah, no. I feel confident that here's how that went down. Pedro, be more. Like, I don't understand what you mean. Just be more. Everything's fucking boring. We don't know what we're doing. Be more. Okay. I got this.
he certainly did it.
What's my motivation for this scene? I have no idea.
We're paying you.
You're in a tube. You're talking to everyone through their blood, we think. I don't know. Just go with it.
Yeah, well, that's,
And that man took that and fucking owned it. So he deserves like a bouquet of Oscars, as far as I'm concerned.
well,
That he wasn't actively vomiting on screen. Like, seriously, that was one of those performances that reminded me of Raul Julia in the Street Fighter movie. Ever seen that thing?
To me, it was
Absolutely amazing. That movie is just the biggest mountain of turds you've ever seen, and it's so much ham. It's basically a pig farm in film form, and Raul Julia just fucking ran with it. His role made no sense at all whatsoever, and that dude owned it like it was his job, because it was. That was amazing.
well,
I love a
It
good
was
Chris rant.
Tuesday.
yeah. Let's just move on. I got what I wanted.
I got the
Seriously,
possibility of like
watch
4
Street
different
Fighter
titles.
the movie. It's amazing. And when I say it's amazing, I literally mean you will be amazed that this is a movie that happened. Like, how did they rope Ming-Na into this? Is that Kylie Minogue? What is happening here?
I have actually seen that movie and just
You blocked it out completely.
it was kind of like a traumatic experience. But Mortal Kombat stayed with me somehow, so I don't know where my brain's at.
Mortal Kombat's like a good bad movie. Like that, you know it's bad, but it's like it's just barely good enough to be like it outdoes its badness by being cool.
Okay.
And because you know I can go back and rewatch Mortal Kombat and be like, this is bad, but I remember why I enjoyed it, and I can still associate there's like just cool things that happen in that movie, like when Sub-Zero freezes the guy and when he's jump kicking and then he shatters into a million pieces.
Oh yeah,
shit's just cool. There's some
Scorpion. Everything
just-
about Scorpion.
Oh,
Get
man.
over here.
That was exactly. It's stupid, but it's cool. But
Yep.
then you watch the sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's like,
Nope, there
no,
was
this
no
is
sequel.
bad. This is uncomfortable to watch, and that's the difference between good, bad, and just bad.
Yes.
And Street Fighter the movie is like, it really skates that line because it is so far over the top. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme. The movie is just hysterical, and you just have to look at it and wonder, how the hell did this happen?
How did this
Jean-Claude
get
Van
made?
Damme as the most American soldier ever.
He's supposed to be white dude, American, white bread, Whitey McWhiterson, and they got Jean-Claude Van Damme and his thick-ass accent talking about, I'm the repo man, and your ass is 6 months overdue. What the hell happened here?
This happened. This moment just now made it all worth it for me.
All right.
Oh, I love it. I love that stupid movie.
All right, so we've talked
But yes,
about-
Raul Julia was a goddamn treasure in that movie. Just an absolute treasure.
Yep.
Any Hoosers, HollywoodReporter.com announces that Brooklyn Nine-Nine will end with abbreviated delayed season 8 on NBC.
This is the right call.
Yeah, this show's run its course. 8 seasons? That's goddamn good for a sitcom. Well done, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I mean, not to mention the climate in America right now with cops.
Yeah.
It's just like after last year, I just don't see a place for a comedy about cops on TV.
And
Made
they're
by white
they're
people.
taking that into consideration in their writing, which I thought was really great. Like they've always been. I always feel like this show is thoughtful. I said that to Evan when I read this article. Like I'm not even remotely surprised that they would be taking this so seriously.
Right. This is a good step towards, changing the attitude toward police in America.
Yeah. And I'm sad to see the show go because I love it so much, but I'm happy that it's being handled correctly the way you said. Like this makes sense. This works.
Yeah, it's getting an ending. That's how you do it. Good job.
Yeah.
And now Joe Latrulio will be free to do other things. 'Cause we always want that.
Yeah, I can't wait to
Right.
see what that guy does next.
Whatever it is, it'll
Then
be
we
amazing.
have, this was just a tweet that I found discussing film. Donald Glover announces a new TV series of Mr. and Mrs. Smith starring himself and Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yay!
Okay, is this
I
actually
love
real
everything
though?
about that sentence.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I don't even care if you understand it. I want it.
Like I Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like the spy, the spy movie.
I assume so, yeah.
With Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Yummy.
I mean, I figure I'm going to assume I don't see either one of them as like action spy people.
Well, I could see Donald Glover doing it, and didn't Phoebe Waller? I don't know.
The only thing I know
pretty
Phoebe
much do
Waller from
anything.
is that show that she does where she talks directly to the camera.
Fleabag.
Fleabag, yes.
If you want like a couple minutes of your joy in your life, oh god, I'm gonna forget the name of this song. It's called "Treat People with Kindness." Go find the YouTube video. It's a Harry Styles song,
Okay.
and she's in the music video, and it's fucking delightful.
Okay.
And the song is a banger. It slaps.
Banger, she says.
All right.
Guys,
God.
guys,
Let's sip
I'm
your
totally
tea.
not in my 40s
But that's the
because I
thing about
say
her.
things
I
like
think,
it slaps.
I think she can pull off pretty much
Okay.
anything she wants to. So I think she's talented enough to pull it off.
All
So
right.
let's.
I know
let's see what
she
happens.
is.
I just like Donald Glover. I don't even care.
And like we already know, the two of them have a degree of chemistry from if you've watched Solo. Even though I didn't particularly care for that droid in that movie, that there were some good moments in it. That movie's weird.
I just want to let you keep going right now. If we just pretended we weren't here, what would Chris say?
He would go to sleep.
He would go to sleep. Yeah, he'd leave. He'd turn the call off and stop the recording.
That's fair.
Let's see, Angie, you posted. Did we already cover everything about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Yep.
this
Move
deadline
on.
article? Okay, so let's keep going. Okay.
I wanted to see, I just posted this to understand, to hear your reaction.
Well, that's the thing. This is not my area of expertise. What site is Deadline.com? Dota Dragon's Blood. Netflix announces anime series based on Valve video game franchise. Dota Dawn of the Ancients, I think, is what that stands for.
Defense of the Ancients.
something of the ancients, Dean of the ancients. Dean plays this game, and that's what I know about it.
So apparently I have like no basis of information on this at all.
If I'm not mistaken, it was basically a giant MMO, and it started hold on. I just saw a thing with a year of Valve released in 2000. Yeah, Dota 2, which was released in 2013, is the sequel to the developer's original Dota, Defense of the Ancients, the multiplayer online battle arena title of the world's leading online games that currently hosts millions of players daily and holds multiple records for top esports tournament prize earnings. So, like, I know it's still a thing. It's a big cultural phenomena for people who like MMOs and do a lot of that online gaming that them youths are doing.
And they're making it into a Netflix show.
And apparently now that's going in that direction. So, listen, I got a WoW movie, so I'm cool with it.
The only reason I is also I said, well, maybe is because Ashley Edward Miller is involved as showrunner and executive producer, and she did Black Sails. So
what?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I thought. That's why I also included that. So
You do love me.
every once in a while.
Well, let's wrap things up with a real proper smiley face here. This kind of made my day. I didn't get to watch the dramatic reading.
Oh, you got to.
Well, we started to, and then my daughter walked into the kitchen and was complaining about imaginary spiders and aliens or whatever. So,
Gotcha.
good times.
Parenting.
I was gutted when they canceled DuckTales. But Deadline is now telling us that DuckTales Disney XD sets 90-minute series finale. Giancarlo Esposito, Jamila Jamil, and more returning as guest voices. Apparently, they will actually get a finale.
A movie.
Yeah.
Like,
This
finale.
is our good news for the day, folks. If you stuck with us this long, here it is.
It makes me happy to know that, because from what I've come to understand, the season 3 that I have not seen yet, because it's for some goddamn reason not on Disney Plus. What the hell, Disney? Seriously, there is zero doubt in my mind that if they made this show a Disney Plus show instead of a Disney XD show, that it would still be running because it would reach a much larger audience on Disney Plus than Disney XD. I will never understand why that's not the case. But anyway, that it got canceled and season 3 apparently ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. And now it seems that there's going to be something that really wraps things up that makes me happy. Unless I'm misreading this and this is just the last 3 episodes of season 3 or whatever cobbled into one and it's still going to end on a cliffhanger. I don't know, but I'm
Hopefully
going to
not.
choose to believe that this is what I want it to be and that this show is getting the ending that it deserves. And hopefully the spin-offs of like Darkwing Duck and whatnot wind up continuing to give children's animation good things, because 3 seasons and a movie, that's good for a show like this. I would rather see it wrap up nicely than, keep going until it's not good anymore.
Right. You don't want things like the things that you really enjoy, you want them to end, not fade away.
Yeah, you don't want it to be The Simpsons. You want it to be Avatar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that.
Or Gravity Falls. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
So with that information, I also want to comment on the fact that there is attached to this article a dramatic reading by a number of the cast members of the theme song. And it made me smile so hard that my cheeks hurt. So there's that too.
He's not used to smiling, guys.
No, I don't. Not. It's hard.
Well, he works in retail.
A real
so.
workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize how long was season 3. How many episodes?
Oh God, I don't know.
I will.
Let's ask the internet. The internet knows all.
Hey, Google. Oh, my phone's probably going off now. Oops.
DuckTales. Talk to me about the 2017 DuckTales series. Ran for 71 episodes. Season 3 was... Oh, apparently season 3 has not finished airing yet?
Yeah, it seems like there's only 12, maybe 12, 13, 15.
Looks like 18
Right, no.
ran on season 3, episode 18 was on November 30th. Then we have 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 24 scheduled to air March 29th. So when was this special supposed to air? Let's go back and figure it out live on air because we're awesome.
We're doing it live.
Honey, edit this out.
Tell Dan to edit this out. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay. No, never mind. That's season 3, episode 22. Yeah, The Last Adventure. So maybe The Last Adventure is just an actual tying it up, maybe? I don't know. The Last Adventure on IMDb is listed as season 3, episode 22 for March 15th. But then they have season 323 and 324. So this makes me think that The Last Adventure is the last 3 episodes tied up together, squished together, and maybe it will actually be an ending. Who knows? I guess we'll find out when it airs in March. And I'm going to choose to believe that this show's getting the ending it deserves.
Okay.
Think positive.
Yes, happy thoughts. Here in Duckbird. Well, that's all I got. I think it's time to wrap things up.
Sounds like a plan. Oh my
Cool, that's our show. You can get in touch with us at mail@geekade.com, as well as all flavors of social media that we inhabit. You can like us on Facebook at Geekade, find us on Instagram at Geekade, subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels for our latest video content, follow us on Twitter at _Geekade, or follow this show specifically at Twepcast. You can also find us individually on all sorts of internet. I am at Geekade Chris, that's Geekade KRIS. Karen, where can people find you?
Shoot_the_moon.
Evan, where can people find you?
Geekade_Evan.
And Angie, where can people find you?
A for not.
If you're interested in more information about anything we discussed tonight, be sure to check out our show notes. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to this and any of our other wonderful podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, where if you're super nice, you can leave us a review, because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, always remember to keep your eyes on geekade.com for more fresh, original content. Evan, remind us what our homework is.
It is Resident Alien Season 1, Episode 1.
There we go.
You didn't think I'd have that on the ready.
Oh, I did. I knew you'd be prepared.
Every once in a while.
One of us has to be.
Ha! All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Chris.
I'm Karen.
I'm Angie.
Why Dota? I don't understand.
Good night.
And this concludes our broadcast day.